What's an important lesson you learned the hard way? Story 1. $1,000 is not a lot of money to have but is a lot of money to owe. Reply. $100 is simultaneously a lot more than I thought it was as a kid, while also being a lot less than I thought it was as a kid.
The quote is cliché for a reason. It's true.
Reply 2. $20 is an adult dollar. Reply 3. When I was a kid, my great-grandma would always give me a $2 coin every time I visited her. When I was really young, I was ecstatic. $2 whole dollars? I could get a bunch of lollies for that. Cut to me being 17 and having a job. Granny had dementia, but she still always had a stash of $2 coins. One each for the great-grandkids still. Much less impressive by then, but I still loved her for it. Story 2.
Money doesn't exist until the deposit hits your bank account, and business promises mean nothing until legal documents are signed. Reply.
I'd like to add that the strength of a legal document is dictated by one's willingness to sue. Reply 2. Bingo. You have to be ready to take someone to court for specific performance and punitive damages. My dad made a deal using a crane manufacturer as an importer on the East Coast for some machinery we were jointly representing. Ended up that we had to sue his ass and keep on him for 2 years before he ended up paying us anything for the work we did on his behalf. Story 3.
Learn when to stop drinking and call it a night. Reply.
This one takes some unfortunate trial and error. Reply 2.
Life is the hardest teacher.
It gives you the test first, then the lesson. Story 4. Just because a person with authority tells you to do something, doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
Reply.
I once had 2 border agents shouting mutually exclusive instructions at me while trying to re-enter the country. Anytime I did what one said, the other would yell and tell me to do the opposite. Story 5. Dental care is expensive. Never be lazy with oral hygiene.
Reply.
And dental problems are extremely painful. Reply 2. Can confirm, was headbutted at a pub when I was 16 and had months of dentist appointments to try and keep my teeth in place. Also had to live off milkshakes for 2 to 3 months because my front teeth were too wobbly to bite into anything. Lucky my mum got me dental insurance a few weeks before the assault took place. Law. Story 6. Don't let love blind your eyes, red flags are real.
Reply.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Maya Angelou. Reply 2. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. BoJack Horseman. Story 7. It's possible to make no wrong moves and still lose.
Reply.
That is not a weakness, that is life. Story 8. Stand up for yourself. If you get in the habit of letting people walk all over you, it'll be extremely difficult to reverse. Even if you're not confident, just fake it till you make it. Reply. This. It was shamed and punished out of me as a child, and it is so hard relearn it now. Story 9. Never have kids with someone you don't want in your life forever.
Reply.
Also ensure that they also want you in their life forever. Story 10. You are not your emotions.
You are an awareness who observes them. Reply.
Let's say you're afraid. You don't have to act afraid. You can observe the fear, take time to understand where it is coming from, and take logical action based on that observation. You don't have to be a slave to your fear, anger, whatever emotion. Reply 2. I am still learning this. But if someone does something that makes me angry, I can feel anger and not be ashamed of it. But I can also choose not to react out of anger. I can take a moment. I can reflect. I can then communicate with that person as a more grounded version of myself, with compassion for both them and myself. Story 11. Your family doesn't always have your best interest at heart. Reply. Sometimes, family are just a bunch of bad PPL who are biologically related to you. Story 12. Using substances to cope is actually the opposite of coping, and the only thing you can be sure of is the eventuality of everything blowing up in your face. 139 Days Sober.
Reply.
298 days in 3 different states since I left my addiction behind. It gets easier every single day. My entire life came crashing down in a viciously quick fashion. 298 days ago and I'm the happiest I've been in a decade. Congratulations on 139 days.
I love that for you. Story 13.
Not everyone has the same heart as you do.
Story 14. Wear a helmet. It's an easy safety precaution you can take when rollerblading, biking, skateboarding, scootering, etc.
And it can literally save your life. Went all through the 90s thinking helmets were lame. Fell while rollerblading in my 30s and got a subdural hematoma. I wasn't going fast, but the momentum from how I fell just slammed my head into concrete. Helmets save lives.
Story 15.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Shit happens and it doesn't really need to have a reason. Sometimes you will be the bad guy, and sometimes you will be the good guy. It happens.
Reply.
I always expected that bad things could happen to me, but things happening that made others see me in a bad light against my intentions is something that really caught me off guard. I always try to be good, so when I for some reason is seen as bad, that is a very off-putting feeling. Suddenly I am a minor negative side character in someone else's story. You just gotta remember that you meant well. Everyone makes mistakes, and it could be a cultural difference or misunderstanding. They probably don't see it or remember it as bad as it feels for yourself. Story 16. Not everyone deserves your niceness. Story 17. A falling knife has no handle. Story 18. Not everyone is a good person. Some people actually want to see you fail.
Stop oversharing.
These nasty people will use it against you. Story 19. Being the smartest person in the room isn't always a good thing.
Reply.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Story 20. If something feels wrong, it likely is.
Reply.
Or someone. Just trust your guts and be aware of red flags. Sometimes it helps to say, let me think about this for a few days and discuss it with someone else. Story 21. The pull-out method works until it doesn't.
Reply. People who use this method have a name.
Parents. Story 22. True love. Love that isn't confusing, judgmental, suffocating, or comes with a price is hard to find, so if you find it, hold on to it.
Reply.
That's why you love yourself first. So that you can love someone else for who they are and not what they are. Story 23.
Making jokes about my trauma makes my trauma easier for me to deal with.
Making jokes about the trauma of others is fucked up and not my place. Story 24. Do not spend like there's no tomorrow. Tomorrow will come and it won't be pretty. Story 25. Don't marry someone with mental illness that refuses treatment.
Reply.
Second part of your sentence is important. We are all flawed and a lot of us meet criteria for at least one diagnosis in the DSM. But there's a difference between actively working on it and just saying, I'm crazy because I'm a Scorpio, or whatever nonsense people say for justifying their maladaptive behavior. Story 26. You can't use logical arguments to change the minds of those who don't value logic.
Reply.
Totally true. I've heard this said as, you can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. Story 27. Loyalty to a company does not pay. Hey, stop. You're awesome. Subscribe for more.
Yo.